Third
right? Sponsored by the letter Q, right? You know, Big Bird over here, we get it that he's trying to, trying to nest and shit.
I mean, don't you exaggerate the stuff?
This is kind of bizarre that they're trying to call out comedy when this might be like, I don't know if it's the bottom, if it's the basement barrel, but it's certainly close to that. I don't know if it gets much lower than Steven Crowder, you know? If you hadn't heard, everybody, SNL is cringe. It's pretty cringy. It's not funny anymore. This is not new information. Pretty sure every single one of you has been well aware of this for, I don't know, over a decade now. SNL is still trying to do what it does, but it just doesn't have the same ring and flavor, and yeah. Now, for the most part, lefties have just kind of been like, yeah, SNL is cringe. They don't really make a huge deal about it. Liberals loved SNL for a little while, thanks to, Alec Baldwin's portrayal of Trump, and as long as he just squinted his face. That was all they needed to get through the week. They were more than happy. And so, as a result of the liberals enjoying SNL, Republicans started to hate SNL, including Trump himself. You know, he made numerous tweets back in the day. They're hacks, their ratings are down, it's sad, etc., etc. But anyways, they're all really upset because yesterday, on Saturday, there was a sketch about Joe Rogan. Let's hear about it.
We have a lot to get to as far as what happened with the trial before we get to closing statements. You guys will let me know as the closing statements come up.
Yeah.
Before any of that, there was a sketch on SNL.
Do they still call him?
Regarding Joe Rogan. I got to tell you, you can see their budget has been depleted because they used to have great wardrobe and makeup. And I just want to objectively offer you this sketch because I know a lot of you aren't really watching it nowadays unless YouTube pays to thrust it in front of you as a glorified ad. It shows, again, why it's one of the least relevant shows in television. Here is a sketch with a woman playing Ted Cruz, Big Bird, and Pete Davidson as Joe Rogan.
Well, that's right. I used to host Fear Factor, and now doctors fear me.
Can you help me, Joe?
Oh, sure thing, Big Bird. You see, I took Carlos Mencia down. I could take COVID. Here's some zinc, and ayahuasca, and some horse medicine.
Well, why would it burn?
Now, no hate on Pete Davidson. I know Pete Davidson is both hated and loved on the internet. I got no hate for Pete Davidson. I don't think it's a great Joe Rogan impression. Like, it's never great when you gotta kind of tell everyone who you are. It's like, hey, I'm Joe Rogan kind of thing. And the other problem is that, yeah, these jokes, they're kind of stale now. Like, this cycle's really old, you know. I mean, I know that Dr. Rogan keeps putting it back into the mainstream, helping out Tim Pool when he needed it. But what would have been interesting or important to hit as a headline, or sorry, as a punchline in this would be to talk about the fact that people who can't afford it, who might not have, healthcare in the United States, have these heroes. Joe Rogan being one of them. And Joe Rogan has effectively told him that he's taken ivermectin for humans. And he believes that may have helped him. Other people have said the same thing. Other people promoted it, like Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, you name it. And the problem is that doctors are not yet allowed to prescribe ivermectin for humans. So one of the problems is that people, in their desperation, because they may not be vaccinated, they may not have healthcare, but they may have COVID, have been turning to buying the horse medicine, the horse paste, as it were, in stores. That's the truth. It's for that reason, not making that very simple connection, that CNN got roasted for this. Multiple people have been roasted for this. And, months ago, we were laughing our faces off about this, not because of the people taking the horse paste, but more the fact that every single one of them seemed to jump on this strange, like, we should be wary about the vaccines, but at the same time, I'm going to talk to you about Zyklon B and all this other stuff, and ivermectin. Ivermectin, it won a few awards.
Take horse medicine.
I'm a human, and I took horse medicine. And I'm speaking of things that are horse-like. Today's two sponsors are the letters S and D, as in I can S my own D.
Do they not even have to try?
And there, it's like a reference joke. It's not so much a joke as it's here's the thing that Joe Rogan said, so we're gonna reference it. He said that he's capable of sucking his own dick, so that's a reference. But it would have been a lot more clever if you kind of wove that in instead of being like, hey, by the way, here's a thing that happened in the real world. So obviously they're upset about this, but I'm gonna guess for different reasons.
Try an impression?
I don't understand. It's very. They never looked like they were reading before.
Right. They look like
The
they're reading
last 2
all the
years,
time.
this was just staring at a cue card like S, and I can S my own D.
Oh, I'm Joe Rogan. I can S my own D. That sounds nothing like him. He looks more like Bill Burr.
He does.
Don't you know how to do an impression? Here, I'll do one of Joe Rogan. Hi, I'm Joe Rogan.
True, yeah. In his third
Right,
round of
sponsored by the
chemo.
letter Q, right? You know, Big Bird over here. We get it that he's trying to, trying to nest and shit.
I mean, don't you exaggerate the stuff?
This is kind of bizarre that they're trying to call out comedy when this might be like, I don't know if it's the bottom, if it's the basement barrel, but it's certainly close to that. I don't know if it gets much lower than Steven Crowder. You know? I'm trying to think. Give me some time on this one. Quebec Lynn, thank you for the Prime subscription.
About the character, like, isn't that how you do an impression? You exaggerate the most obvious thing. Not just stand there reading a cue card.
Why don't they have a sleeve of tattoos?
I resent that.
Yeah, why didn't they make him look sweaty?
Why didn't they just use his sleeve of tattoos?
Yes, that's true.
Exactly.
Oh,
that's what passes for comedy now.
Well, it really is Clapter.
Why was Big Bird that tall? It's Big Bird. It's not. It's not 4 foot tall. Yeah.
Why don't they just get an actual Big Bird?
Yeah.
They can just go.
I know that wasn't intentional. That zoom in was about the funniest part about this whole segment, just because it's just awkward.
Get an actual Big Bird.
Yeah.
They can just go down the hall.
I think Big Bird's been on the show. There's probably a costume somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's in their contract.
Well.
That's what you're picking apart. Big Bird's height wasn't correct for you. The fictional character of Big Bird, it wasn't a realistic portrayal.
He can't. Well, we can't now.
But who wrote that? The ivermectin thing is like months old.
I know. It's like
it would have been
like,
funny
hey,
if you're
you know what's hot?
Yeah,
Ivermectin. That's what's happening right now. Well, that's what happens when you get rid of the YouTube dislike feature.
Right.
Yeah.
They have no idea what's current.
Exactly.
Nobody will ever know what's good or bad.
I mean, it's funnier if he comes in like
This is also extra rich coming from this crew, who were definitely on the ivermectin train. Oh yes. Oh my yes.
squirting the horse paste on the bird or something like that. It's like, oh, okay,
You're disgusting.
maybe.
Do you hear this?
know? Sick.
I mean,
wrong with him?
it's horse dewormer.
Why is Gerald so
paste.
filthy?
Everything is bird porn with him.
It's like watch a cringy, unfunny segment and then watch a much more cringy and much more unfunny take apart, a ribbing, if you will.
This will come down to who can deliver the lower propensity and mid propensity voters.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we will build a ladder to heaven to deliver you the daily news. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are your most humble of clownish jesters. To our lords, Trevor R. and Alexander Thaler, you have our undying fealty. To our knights of the round table, Nate, that one guy, Hagbird Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariana McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Ants Are Still Running the World, Coulter Smith, Tom Groh, Val 9000, Jenna Tal, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Riley and Anna, Omni, Poodlehawk. The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojak, Saren 42, Chronic to Hemphog, Catherine, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Josh Mickelson, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We shall meet you in the tavern, and we raise a drink, and we salute you.